we're going to talk about Google Notebook LM and block sources. So there's a few things that can go on with block sources when you're trying to gather everything into your notebook. So it gets a little frustrating. You're trying to figure out why something's going on. And one of the key things that you might learn from this particular video is about robot.txt. So I found out a little bit about robot.txt while I was looking up why and how does Notebook LM know that this site is blocked? How does it come across that it's being blocked and no entry guaranteed kind of thing? So when you're in your Notebook LM and you start adding sources, you may come across some sources that look like there's something wrong with them. They're red highlighted and there's an I beside it, and that I will actually give you information. So I have two here for demonstration purposes. So I made a private YouTube video just to show that it can be blocked. The simple fix for this one may be, if it's your personal video, then you can unblock it. So this information icon does say this video cannot be imported, transcript not available. Now if you go up to this one, which is Reuters, the icon says this source is behind a paywall. So blocked sites can be stopped from being accessed because it's a blocked site. So how did Notebook LM know that this particular site is a paywall? Well, I think it comes to this protocol right here, which is called Robots Exclusion Protocol. And so basically this is a voluntary protocol that developers use when they're creating sites to kind of say, hey, this is what I would like you to be able to access on my site. As a courtesy, here's the things I think that you should not access because you're not paying for it, etc., etc. And so if you look up the protocol, it is 9309 and explains the protocol and the use of it, the formal syntax, and maybe breaks down some of the errors and security considerations, etc. You can also go to the Web Robots pages, and this does a nice job of explaining the protocol as well. So it says web robots, known as web wanderers and crawlers or spiders, are programs that traverse the web automatically. Search engines like Google use them to index the web content. Spammers use it to scan for email addresses, etc. And then it breaks down a lot of other things that you may want to learn about. So this is a voluntary protocol, and it basically says, hey, Google may throws some web crawlers out and wants to find different sites, and some developers don't want Google to access this. And so when Google has its web crawlers floating around, it will come across this protocol. This protocol is actually in the root domain, and this will be read, and the web crawler will say, hey, I'm going to follow these rules as a courtesy. It's telling me not to do this, so I'm going to stop. So how do you know a little bit more about this? Again, you can go through all this stuff, but what I did was I made a cheat sheet. And so what I did was, yes, I did use Google Gemini to create this, and this is what we got. So robots.txt is the web store man. And so basically, again, it says that this is a simple text file that is used by web developers so that when web crawlers or the like access a web page, then they will come across this protocol, and this protocol will say, this is what I would like you, the rules I would like you to follow while you are on my page. And so again, it is found in the root of the web page. So if you go to example.com/robotstxt, you will hit this information. And so what does it tell the bots? What are the commands? And so there are 5 commands: user agent, disallow, allow, sitemap, and comments. So the user agent, this is the line that says, hey, I'm talking to you, I'm trying to tell you what the rules are. This is the rule for all bots, and it will go through those rules. And then one of the commands will be disallow. This line says, hey, bots, please do not enter this part of the web page. And so going back to the paywall, it may say, hey, don't go past this section because this is a paywall site. Please honor my request. And then the allow is, this line says, even if a general rule says no entry, you can enter this specific part, And then, so we'll give you some exceptions that are allowed. And then the sitemap says this line tells bots, here's a map of our site, and here's where some important pages are that you should visit. And then you have the comment. And so the comments obviously are for the developers and the webmasters so that they can remember what they did. So here's an example of a simplified example of a page, and I think we used Reuters as an example. So again, it says the user agent, hey, some AI bot, you're not allowed. Or here's another one, here's another AI bot, you're not allowed. But then here's some rules for all other agents. So these two guys, we're saying we don't want you to come in, you're not our guest. And then down here it says, for other bots, we want to disallow search. Don't crawl our internal search results. And then it says disallow account. Keep out of our user account pages. And then here's a unique one that says disallow FR, which I think stands for French or France. And it says we might want you to handle the French site differently. And then here are the site maps. So it's telling you where the site maps are so that you can go through the pages that are not specifically called out up here. So what this means is Reuters is telling specific AI bots to stay away completely. For other general bots, like Google's main search bot, is saying you can look around, but please don't go into our search pages, our account areas, or our French section. And here are the maps to our important news and video content. So there are things that web developers and owners of web pages may want you to access. So important things to remember. It's a request. So this protocol is just saying, hey, please follow these rules. It can't enforce them. So if you're a good guy or a good bot, you'll follow these rules. If you're not so nice, you will probably try to work around it and you will not follow the rules. And there's a reminder that the robots.txt, the protocol itself, is not a security tool and is not used to protect any private information. And so what's the big thing going on right now? Why are we talking about this? Because AI bots are the new challenge. And with the rise of AI, many websites are now using robots.txt to try and tell AI data collection bots, like bots that are used for ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not a bot. Claude, bots that are used with Claude, any kind of web crawlers that help these AI platforms get more information, those are the ones that are starting to cause a little bit of a stir. So some AI bots say they will listen, others might not, and some might be new and not yet listed. It's all an evolving world. So good bots usually listen, bad bots might not. So why do websites use the robot.txt? Why do they use this particular protocol? So to manage server load, so it prevents too many bots from hitting the site at once and slowing it down. So that's important for the owner of the website and the website for survival, and to reduce the frustrations and the inconveniences of people who are actually trying to access the site for reasons that are not just for web crawling. So it's also to keep unimportant or duplicate pages out of search results, like internal search pages, temporary files, or printer-friendly versions, maybe even drafts. To guide good bots to the most important content using the sitemaps. So there's like tons of pages in some of these domains, and so the sitemaps actually help good bots, the web crawlers, find important information. And then to attempt to control how AI models use their content, a newer and evolving use. So this could be as simple as someone trying to protect their personal copyright, their intellectual property, stuff like that. So this is going to be an ongoing discussion for probably many, many years. And then the last one, why do websites use this protocol? To prevent crawling of sections that are still under development. So there are times when you may not know a page exists, but the developer has a page and they're getting it ready and they're trying to clean it up and make sure it's accurate. This protocol will help prevent crawling of sections that are not ready for public consumption yet. And so the key takeaway is robots.txt is a website's way of saying welcome or no entry to web crawlers. It helps manage how search engines and other bots see and use a site's content, but it relies on bots playing by the rules. And so that is really one of the reasons why you may see these sites are blocked. It's important to know this. It's important not to get frustrated if something is blocked. there are workarounds. You as an individual have to figure out if you want to use those workarounds or if you want to honor this protocol, just like the web crawlers have to make a decision whether they want to honor it or not as well. There's many ways to get information for your notebooks, and there's a lot of information out there that's not being blocked. So consider the way you want to do business and take it from there. So that's it. Thank you. See you later. Bye bye.